saying some years ago that said, it was talking about how when an animal is chased by a predator in the wild, as soon as the animal escapes the predator, it will stand in one place and actually tremble and shake till it's released the trauma from its body. And we've sort of humaned ourselves out of that shaking. But I think of that often when I'm on stage. The shaking, it's like, getting out of the fucking culture in some way. I'm going to not follow my set list at all, Emily. This poem, I saw this thing on Tumblr. It was photographs of human cells, and they were adult human cells. And they were photographs of people who had been bullied when they were young. And the photographs of the cells, the people were like 60, 70 years old, and their cells were actually beat in around the edges. And the article was talking about how when you're abused or bullied when you're young, it shapes the way that your body grows your whole life, like how likely you are to fight off disease, how quickly you'll age. And it was one of the saddest things I ever saw. And I've been thinking lately that if they were to take photographs of the cells of the bully, grown up, imagine it would be the same way. And when I was young, I had this exact same haircut, actually. And, but I was much sharper in my dressing, and I got teased a lot for dressing like a little man. And I wanted to write a poem from the perspective of that little kid. And the thing that I love about art is I feel like there are ways that we can go back or rewrite our own personal histories with what we create now, and in some ways, reshape our own selves. This poem is called A Letter to the Playground Bully, from Andrea, age 8.5. 8 3/4, let's say. Feeling old today. Maybe there are cartwheels in your mouth. Maybe your words will grow up to be gymnasts. Maybe you've been kicking people with them by accident. I know some people get a whole lot of rocking in the rocking chair, and the ones who don't sometimes get rocks in their voice boxes become slingshots. Maybe you think my heart looks like a baby squirrel. But guess what? You absolutely miss when you tell the class I have head lice, because guess what? I 100% absolutely do not have head lice, and even if I do, it is a fact that head lice prefer clean heads over dirty ones, so I am clean as a whistle on a teapot. My mother says it is totally fine if I blow off steam, as long as I speak in an octave, my kindness can still reach. My kindness knows mermaids never ever miss their legs in the water, because there are better ways to move to an ocean than kicking. So guess what? If I ever have my own team, I am picking everyone first, even the worst kid and the kid with the stutter like the skipping record, because I know all of us are scratched, even if you cannot hear it when we speak. My mother says some people have heartbeats that are knocking on doors that will never ever open, and I know my heart is a broken freezer chest. That's why I can't keep anything frozen. So no, I am not always crying. I'm just thawing outside the lines, and even if I am always crying, it is a fact that salt is the only reason everything floats so good in the Dead Sea. And just because no one ever passes notes to me doesn't mean I am not super duper. In fact, my super duper might be a buoy or a paper boat the next time your nose is stuck up the river, because it is a fact that our hearts stop for a millisecond every time we sneeze, and some people's houses have too much dust. Some people's fathers are like attics. I've heard attics have monsters in their walls and shaky stairs. If I lived in a house that had an attic, I'd think a nightmare, a burglar in my safety chest, or maybe I'd look for rest in the sticks and stones, because my mother said a kid can only swallow so much punch before he's drunk on his own fist. But the only drunk I have ever known was sleeping in the alley behind my church, and Jesus turned water into his wines. Even God has his bad days, but on your bad days, couldn't you just say, hey, I'm having a bad day? Instead of telling me I'm stupid or poor, or that I dress like a boy because maybe I am a boy and a girl. Maybe my name is Andrea Andrew. So what? It is a fact that bumblebees have hair on their eyeballs, and people also should comb to everything they see. Like an anchorman is not a sailor, like the clouds might be a pillow fight, like my mother said. Every bird perched on a telephone wire decides the direction of its flight, but the conversations running through its feet. So I know everything I speak can make hurricanes in other people's veins, or shine their shiny shine. So maybe sometime, if somebody would sit beside me on the bus, I could say, guess what? It is a fact that manatees have vocal cords, even though they don't have ears, just like Beethoven played music, even when he could no longer hear. And I know every belt that has hit someone's back is still a belt that was built to hold something up, and it is a fact that Egyptians slept on pillows made of stone. But it's not hard for me to dream that maybe one day you'll write me back, like the day I wrote the lightning bug, to say I smashed my mason jar and I threw away the lid. I didn't want to take a chance that I grew up to be a war. I want to be a belly dance, or a pogo stick, or an accordion, or the fingerprints the mason leaves in the mortar between the bricks to prove that he was here, that he built a roof over someone's head to keep the storm from their faith. My mother says that's why we all were born. And I think she's right. So right back soon. Sincerely yours.